Thank you for joining us on this episode of SeniorLivingGuide.com podcast. I am your host, Arlene Mahoney. If you enjoy our Senior Focus podcast, we can be downloaded and followed most anywhere you enjoy your podcasts, such as Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and so much more. SeniorLivingGuide.com provides their online users with a one-stop solution to help seniors and their caregivers find and connect with the best next step in senior living or home health, all in one easy-to-navigate website. So it's so super easy peasy. So today we have our guests in the studio. We have Dr. Pam Tronetti and Dr. Janet Rooks. Dr. Tronetti is an osteopathic physician who specializes in geriatrics. Janet Rooks is a social worker and a dementia care specialist. They work together at the Parrish Senior Consultation Center, where they focus on the care of patients with dementia. Dr. Tronetti is the director of aging services at Parrish, and Janet Rooks coordinates Parrish Senior Solutions, which provides education, resources, and support for seniors and caregivers. And today we're going to talk about one fall from disaster, senior safety. It's so super important. So most of us fell down when we were kids, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We skinned our knees. We, got owies and ouchies and boo-boos and had Band-Aids. But this is very different for seniors. So what happens when we become seniors?
Well, you're right. The number one group of people who go to the ER for falls are kids. But it is scrapes and stoved fingers and, maybe a fracture. But the serious injuries are usually height and speed. They're riding their skateboards. They're falling off a wall. That's when you can see the more serious injuries.
Yeah.
But as we get older, the injuries becomes more severe. We don't get a lot of skateboard accidents in our office, Janet, with our seniors.
No, and you don't hear of a child falling and breaking their hips either.
No,
right.
no, while they're on their way to the bathroom at night,
Absolutely.
Right. It's a whole different ball of wax.
Yeah.
And older people get more serious injuries, from the falls or even tripping over the rugs that are there. And, and they get the falls from, step ladders. Oh my goodness, I just cringe when they tell me they've been on a ladder cleaning windows or whatever.
Right.
And they're more serious, like bleeding in the brain or the brain stem. And a lot of times they don't realize that fall has caused a brain injury.
Yeah. It's just crazy, the difference. So do you have statistics about falls and seniors?
Oh, I got some numbers here.
I love statistics.
Yeah. Americans over age 65, 1 out of 4 will fall each year. Every 11 seconds, a senior arrives in the ER because of a fall. Every 19 minutes, 3 times an hour, somebody dies from complications from a fall-induced fracture. It might not be immediately. It might be a month from now. It might be within the next year. A person with a fractured hip is 3 to 4 times more likely to die in the next year than someone their same age, all their other medical problems, but no fracture.
Yeah, whenever I hear that a senior's fallen and they've broken their hip, you always know, that is not a good thing. That is really, that can be really bad. So a fall could actually result in death. So that's really scary.
But death isn't the most serious thing that can occur when someone falls. According to a study in 2001, 3% of seniors fear death. 26% of the fear of loss of independence, and 13% fear of going to nursing homes. But 50% of the people who have fractures never fully recover, regain that independence. They need to move into assisted living, a nursing home, or in with a family member.
Yeah.
So they will not return home after they have fallen and broken something.
Yeah, and people fear that more than dying.
Yeah, a fall is can be absolutely life-altering.
Absolutely.
Life before a fall and life after look completely different for a senior. So what causes most of the falls?
Well, it's usually a combination. Now, what is balance? Balance relies on our vision, our inner ear. That's where the seat of balance is. The nerves in our feet, so we know where we're stepping and where we are in space. And then it's all processed through the brain. So, kids have that sharp vision. their inner ear. Kids are always twirling and jumping and moving around.
They ride roller coasters.
Exactly. And as we get older, our inner ear just doesn't respond. It doesn't react the way it should. And they have very quick righting reflexes, reaction time. So when a kid starts to fall, they kind of grab themselves, they can roll, they can do all kinds of things to break that fall. When an older person starts falling, it's like they can't stop. They're just going to hit the ground.
You know, and you mentioned vision. You know, an older person needs to get their vision checked annually. You know, the glasses may not change, but they need to get that vision checked because there's diseases, conditions that can affect that: diabetes, macular degeneration. Just getting older, you know, the vision will dim. So it's very, very important to get you have that annual eye exam.
Yeah, and in all honesty, I think the annual eye exam is something that a lot of seniors miss, and they don't do it sometimes because they're doing everything else, and they don't make it a priority, but it really needs to be a priority.
And that inner ear that you mentioned, Dr. Pam, you know, it doesn't adapt to motion like
the roller coaster.
Oh, yeah, that roller coaster or that twirling you were talking about with the children. You know, it'll end up with the dizziness. They don't adapt to those amusement park rides. The neuropathy that's there, that tingling, that loss of feeling in the feet. It's like walking on eggshells, or walking on that numbness in the feet. You know, I do a class that I do with some of the area high schools, and I'll have them put marbles in their shoes and walk with that, or put eggshells or something like that in their shoes and try to walk, and it gives that needly feeling in their shoes, and it's just, and they freak out. Those kids absolutely freak out because they can't feel the shoes, the sensation of the bottom of their feet. It is really it's scary.
Right.
It is really, really scary, and that's what someone with diabetes or a pinched nerve in their back may feel.
And neuropathy, I mean, that's something that's fairly common among seniors because of different types of medication, cancer, different things like that. So it becomes more common.
Yeah, many causes. And those are all the internal changes that go on as far as balance and falling. Externally, people will say to me, what medication causes dizziness? And the answer is probably all of them. If you read the package insert, dizziness is in there somewhere.
Hence, don't operate a motor vehicle is usually your first sign that that's not a good thing, right? Yeah. So I've heard about like rugs, slippery floors causing falls. What else can you be cautious about? Because you can really go through your entire house and find things that are dangerous for a senior in a senior home.
Oh, this is a big one for me. Clutter, and clutter. You know, in boxes. You know, and please don't come into my house, but clutter. You know, please don't. Everything needs to be in its place and a place for everything. You know, we're bad. I say we. Most people are. A lot of seniors want to hold on to things.
Sure.
And the scatter rugs, the throw rugs on the floor, and things on the counter, knickknacks that may cause you to grab and fall, this sort of thing. But clutter, magazine racks, and all kinds of things like that you little walkways.
That you even just, some people would just maybe like stub their toe on. It might actually cause a senior to fall.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Christmas decorations or any type of holiday decorations. You know, you have those decorations, the Christmas tree up, and, you know, Grandpa or Uncle Henry is used to sitting in that chair, and now it's moved out of the way because the Christmas tree's there. So he backs up because he's always sat there, and oh my goodness, he's sitting in the middle of the Christmas tree.
That sounds painful.
It does, and it'll happen.
Well, so that sounds painful for anyone.
Yes, and get rid of the glass coffee tables, please, because if you hit those, we have a lot of sunken living rooms here, and that's a recipe for disaster. You hit your toe on that, you start falling, and then, of course, you know, footwear and just poor lighting. And older people need more intense light just to see. The classic is walking through the dark hallway, flip the light on in the bathroom, and then there's the bright light, and then there's a trip and fall walking over through the doorway.
And
Yeah.
I've actually had some people that were in my support group that saw the rug and thought it was a hole with the shadow from the nightlight in the bathroom.
Oh.
The rug gave the illusion that it was a hole. So they try to step over the rug, lose their balance, and it's a disaster for a fall.
It's a misprocessing because of a dementia.
Yeah.
So it happens. So go through your house, come in your
Yeah.
front door, and just look at what could possibly happen. It's the what ifs.
Yeah.
It's what could possibly happen. You know, we child-proof our homes when we have the little ones. Proof your home for possible falls.
Yeah, and even the outside of your home. I know that our previous home had steps. They were all the same color and tile, and we had to put reflective tape because and they were big steps, so they're not like normal steps. They're like 2 really large steps, and I would have to remind myself these are steps, and I'm like, this is bad. So we had to put reflective tape in order to mimic or showcase that these were actually step downs. And I think sometimes, you get so busy in your everyday life and you're just moving and grooving and not realizing that not everybody's seeing the same things that you're seeing as an active adult or young child or whatever.
Exactly.
And be careful with the tile outside, because when it gets wet, it gets slippery.
Yes, marble's bad.
Very, very bad. Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
So seniors fall, so why do they fracture so easily?
Well, we think that bone is like wood or something. But we don't realize it's living, it's moving. When you hit your elbow and get a bone bruise, there's little cells that are going in, taking off the damaged bone tissue and then making the new tissue. Well, as we get older, there's more bone loss and the body doesn't replace damaged bone or worn out bone cells, because we're talking about cells. So if you cut apart a bone, it looks like a honeycomb. And as we get older, that honeycomb the holes get bigger. There's less connections between the two. So less architecture, less structure to hold together.
That makes sense. I did not realize that was something that was a process that happened. And I like the honeycomb analogy because that's such a great visual. And it's a simplistic visual as well. So anyone can kind of look at that and imagine.
Yeah. And let's talk a minute about muscle. As we get older, 1% of our muscles deteriorate. Muscle mass, we lose it every year over the age of 40, unless we work out and maintain it. And I'm not talking about going to the gym and becoming a bodybuilder.
Well, I am.
Start bulking up.
But muscle loss and leg weakness contributes to falls. I mean, it just does. And our core muscles, we've got to keep them strong. Our upper body muscles means that we've lost our arm strength, and we've also our ability to pull ourselves up off the floor. I've told my folks in my support group, my caregivers, get on the floor, get yourself up.
Yeah.
Because you've got to maintain that. And it's amazing how many will tell me I couldn't do it. I had to, I'd have to get a chair over or go over to the recliner and pull myself up. Because you've got to maintain that.
And these are your caregivers. These aren't the patients that they're taking care of.
These are the caregivers. So 50% of seniors who fall can't get themselves up off the floor because they've lost the upper body strength. Now, I'm not talking about the legs that help pull you up. I'm talking about the arms.
Yeah.
And because we just don't think about it.
So really just even simple light weights, but doing
repetition.
them properly is a key, will help just keep those strengthened so that you are in good shape. You don't have to be a muscle mania person.
And it's better to do the lower number of the weight of the poundage than go in there with 20-pound weights and hurt yourself.
But that being said, because I'm a gym rat myself, I was kind of teasing with that. When you see people who just lift, we start maybe with soup cans, but if they say, see, I'm lifting this 1 pound weight, well, but you don't weigh a pound.
Yeah.
You really do need to work a little bit harder, again, with a trainer, with a physical therapist, because you don't want to tear a muscle or hurt a joint, but you want to strengthen that muscle and give yourself more strength.
Right. And do proper exercises to keep your rotator cuff in good shape, because I know that doesn't build muscle, but it keeps it in good shape while you're building muscle.
Right. Keep things flexible.
Yes.
So you can maybe bend and twist the way you need to get up off the floor.
Right.
Exactly. And the key is with a trainer, with someone that knows what they're doing, as opposed to you just going out there and trying to do it yourself, because you will injure yourself.
Yeah.
You will hurt yourself. And once you've got an injury, it takes weeks, months to get back. And it may even take, you may injure yourself to where that you may not be able to get back there.
Or just get discouraged.
Yeah. And that kind of leads me to that commercial, accidents can lead to tragedy. So you mentioned earlier about patients with dementia as well, having higher risk of fall. So kind of explain why that is.
Well, many people with dementia forget that they're supposed to use their walker, or they just refuse to use it. Refuse it.
A lot of times.
I see so many people coming into our office and they won't have their cane or they won't have their walker, and I'll ask, "Where's your walker?" And they'll point at their daughter and say, "I have her." Well, they're holding on to their daughter, and they're hanging on for dear life. And I don't want to look old. Well, they're in their 90s. I don't want to look old, and I try my best to talk about how independent they'll be with their walker. And the daughters just beam when they hear that, because I can usually talk them into it. But, of them to give your walker a name, call it whatever it may be, so that you can always have your independence with your walker, as opposed to dragging your daughter down, because if she was to fall, the daughter's going to go with her. So they tend to be impulsive. I've had patients that'll have their walker across the room, and they'll hop up out of their chair and take off and leave the walker there. It's that impulsiveness.
Right.
They're rushing because it seems like the thing to do. Not planning, taking off in the opposite directions of where they are, so it's the walker's in their way.
Do you think they sometimes just don't realize they don't have the capability physically to do some of the things that they're doing?
Absolutely.
Because they have dementia?
Okay. And we've seen patients that they will get to a stage in their dementia that they can't, it's not registering how to use the walker.
Absolutely.
It's gone too far in the stages of dementia that they're not teachable.
Right.
It's not registering to use the walker.
Like they can't remember how to use the remote or use a cell phone or simple tasks. They cannot remember how to do those simple tasks. That makes complete sense.
Absolutely. Very good. And sometimes they're wearing the wrong shoes.
Yeah, my mom loved her little, what I called her skater shoes. They were like flat bottom sandals, slippery as anything, and she would just shuffle along. But these were her shoes. These were the shoes she wanted to wear. The shoes had to disappear.
Yeah.
And they were replaced magically with Skechers, with the nice grips, and her walking speed doubled.
Yeah.
And she was so much safer.
Yeah.
But people will say, well, these are mom and dad want to wear these shoes. Well, they need to find new shoes.
My dad had sliders.
Yeah.
With socks. First of all, ooh. But
this isn't a fashion program.
No, but he loved them. But his toes, and I'm like, he's shuffling in these flip-flop sliders, and I'm like going, oh my gosh, this is not happening. This is not going to work. So I did the same thing. I took his shoes, hid them, and got him appropriate shoes that he did not like, but that was too bad.
Yeah. And Janet had mentioned seeing the rug as a whole. We would walk along, and when my mom saw a crack in the sidewalk, she lifted her foot up and stepped over it as though it was a little wall, and would just stop and move on. And it's that depth perception goes. There's just a lot of changes.
And with Parkinson's patients, they have the freezing. So it's interesting to see, and Parkinson patients have, they're very high risk of falling. They will freeze, and so to go through a door jamb, they have that freezing to go through. It changes in any type of pattern on the floor, especially in a door jamb, a doorway. So they will actually come to a screeching halt. So and any changes in the pattern in the floor, a seam in the tile or anything like that. So that risk is so very high, and that just that rhythm, getting that rhythm of the walking. But shoes, I look at shoes every time anybody comes into the office. Dr. Nay looks at feet, I look at shoes, and I'll address it. I'll say something to them, and then I'll go to the doctor because it's like, okay, I can do so much, she can do so much more,
right?
And and then I'll get to the caregiver. These need to go out to the garage and be put in the trash. But
there was that interesting study out of France where they had people walk on a track, and the people without dementia, you would walk up beside them and start talking, and they would keep walking. The people with dementia would stop. So if you have somebody with dementia, they're walking up steps, they're carrying a shopping bag, don't distract them and say, oh, look at that squirrel, because they might stop halfway through a step and it would cause a fall. So
because multitasking is
difficult. we had to teach our staff, when you're checking a patient in, as you walk down the hallway, don't start a conversation, because you will stop in the middle of the hallway.
Yeah. All right. I think that we are going to go to break, and we'll come back with some more interesting topics.
At Parrish Healthcare, we believe every life is poetry in motion, motivated by strength and determination. As your bone, muscle, and joint healthcare partners, we believe in blending the art of healing with the science of medicine to keep your body in motion. We believe in healing patients, healing families, and healing communities. For a free orthopedic health assessment, visit parrishhealthcare.com/orthoaware. Parrish Healthcare, where the art of healing comes to life.
Hey, Mom, how's the retirement home search coming?
Oh, my gosh. I'm just so stressed out. I don't even know where to begin.
Well, why are you so stressed? What's the matter?
I don't know where to find anything. I just need everything in, one place and know what all the options are.
Does the idea of searching for senior housing seem overwhelming, and you just aren't sure where to even begin? SeniorLivingGuide.com has great news for you. We offer a one-stop solution to take the stress out of your senior housing search. At SeniorLivingGuide.com, both our statewide Florida edition book and website are created to make your senior housing search very easy for you to navigate. We provide details on communities, including retirement, assisted living, skilled nursing, memory care, and home health, allowing you to decide which best fits your needs and then connecting you directly with those communities. Visit us online at SeniorLivingGuide.com and start your search today and start de-stressing.
At Parrish Healthcare, we believe in our community. We believe in keeping our community safe. We believe in the art of healing. We believe in healing patients, healing families, healing communities. We believe in the best and brightest working together for the common good. At Parrish Healthcare, our team focuses on you as an individual because every life is a work of art to us. Parrish Healthcare, where the art of healing comes to life. Visit parrishhealthcare.com/healthaware for a free health risk assessment.
Welcome back. So we are talking today with Dr. Pam Tronetti and Janet Rooks, and we're talking a little bit about falls with seniors. So let's talk a little bit about lifelines, because I know we talked about what causes them and some different things. Let's talk a little bit about solutions. I am all about solutions. I always tell my kids, don't come to me with a problem unless you have at least some idea of a solution. So lifelines, is that a solution that would be helpful?
Absolutely. But the key is you got to wear it. It doesn't do any good laying on the table or on the nightstand or hanging on the doorknob. Absolutely, because there are the lifelines that are out there now, they actually activate our alarm when you fall.
Not all of them, but
not all of
we
them,
have them.
We have them that do. And it doesn't send the fire department and the EMS and the police out there to your home. It notifies the person that you have designated to be notified.
There is a huge variety of options out there and companies and different levels of what they provide and what they don't provide, and then also in the communities as well, they have different types of things. So
because people roll over and hit the button,
right,
or you know, whatever it may be. I'll push this button and see what happens. Well, the phone rings, you know, and it happens. Let's face it, folks. So because the thing is, we've all seen the commercial. I've fallen and I can't get up. So people will lay there. You laugh. It happens.
I laugh because I always still use that line. It was a great marketing tool because it really is. I've fallen and I can't get up. And it brings you right back to the lady on the floor.
And the trouble is everybody, it's become kind of a joke line now. It is so serious.
Yes.
When people lie on the floor and they're alone, you can actually die.
Absolutely.
If you are left there. And the reason is, as you lie there not moving, we all know about pressure sores. How long do you think it takes to create a pressure sore on the outside? The answer is 2 hours of a certain amount of pressure. There's also pressure and damage being done to the muscles. They're breaking down as you lay there not moving. The toxins, the muscle proteins are being released. The kidneys try to process them. They can't. They become overwhelmed. The kidneys shut down. And we have this big long name called rhabdomyolysis, which means the muscles are breaking down. We check lab work, but folks will come into the ER and they've lain on the floor for 24, 48 hours, and we can't save them because the damage is just too severe and the kidneys are totally shut down.
That's heartbreaking.
So it is, and so we take falls very, 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 very seriously. And we were talking about using the lifeline. There's a great study out of England. People 90 years and older, they fell. 80% weren't able to get up for an hour. 70% of them had the lifeline. Guess what percentage didn't use the lifeline?
Oh, I'm sure it's large.
It's 80%. And
so why did they not use it?
Well, I've heard people say, I didn't want to bother those guys. You know, I had one person one time tell me I was in the shower and I didn't want them to see me naked.
I can see that.
Yeah,
it's understandable,
but
they've seen it all.
You know, and more. You know, and it's one of those things. Oh, my daughter will be here soon. She'll take care of me. So it's one of any of those.
Yeah, or I usually wear it. I just didn't happen to wear it because I take it off at night. I was laying in bed. I had to get up and go to the bathroom, and I didn't put it back on to go to the bathroom and come back. Or, yes, I fell at 2 in the morning, but I knew my caregiver would show up at 8, so I just made myself comfortable and just stayed there because I didn't want to wake anybody up.
Or the caregiver, the person they're caring for, a spouse, they got a pillow for them and just let them lay there on the floor with a pillow and a blanket. We've seen that.
So some of it is a pride thing, or a lot of it might be a pride thing. They just feel like it's a fall. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. And reality is it is a big deal, and they need to get help.
Yeah, and a lot of
ASAP.
people, again, who don't wear the pendant, I'm not going to fall. Well, we all fall. We trip and fall. I've tripped in the middle of the doctor's dining room because I slipped on a little wet spot.
Right.
You know, it wasn't supposed to be there. It was an accident. It happens.
Yeah, it absolutely. So what can someone do to prevent falls?
Well, a lot of that has to do with keeping yourself active. Make sure your muscles are built up, like we were talking earlier. Keep them, have that core strength and flexibility. Eat healthy.
Always goes back to nutrition.
Does, doesn't it? Good.
Make sure you've got enough hydration. But a lot of it is just, make sure, wear proper shoes. Make sure that you're doing what you need to do, the things that we've already talked about. And just stay as active as possible.
And the other thing is we talked about step ladders and standing on the edge of the bathtub to take the shower curtain down.
Lord.
What happens a lot of times is you and I are so busy during the day that we don't think about, gee whiz, I need to get that teapot out of the top shelf of the cupboard. But for somebody who's sitting there, they're ruminating, they're thinking about that teapot, it's on the top shelf of the cupboard, it really needs dusted. My aunt gave it to me, I haven't dusted it in 6 months, I really need to get to that teapot, I need to get to it right now, and it needs dusted. And that's a recipe for disaster.
And they're not
So-
going to ask for help just because.
No.
Gotcha.
You know, so what we'll say is put together a chore board. If you think something needs to be done that's up above your head, write it down. The next time your daughter, your son, your caregiver shows up, let them get the teapot down. Or let's look at the cupboards. Let's get everything down at eye level. The people from Better Homes and Gardens are coming to inspect. So maybe it just needs to sit out on the countertop.
I love the idea of everything reachable.
Yes, everything
I think
reachable.
that's like a great plan. Get rid of what you don't need, declutter, and then make everything reachable on what you do need and would like to keep.
And I actually saw a dishwasher that was at eye level. And I thought, what a great idea, rather than having to bend down to the floor.
It had to be a woman that designed it.
Oh my gosh.
It
Janet,
had
we're
to have
gonna
been.
we're going to get letters, Janet.
Oh, it's all right.
They're also making microwaves now that you don't have to lift up. They're like it's a drawer microwave.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
You know, and windows don't have to be cleaned every month. And, you know,
Curtains
curtains don't
yeah.
have to be cleaned.
No.
You know, it's one of those things to where that you look around and you see what you used to do all the time because you used to do it all the time. And society has changed, and the manufacturers have risen to the level of what society needs now.
They have solutions for
Oh
these
gosh,
things.
I cleaned my windows outside and I hooked this thing to my hose and I just sprayed my.
It's like magic.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And you know, and I'm doing some spring cleaning and I cleaned my, you know, and it was just like wow. So I can see out my windows now.
Yeah, and you can clean fans with just
Yes.
standing there cleaning your fans.
The long-handled cleaners, dusters
Yes.
are great.
The little,
Yeah.
And
Your
so
mini blinds, whatever you need.
yeah, so you know, it's one of those things to where that. Who was the lady that used to come and do with the white glove and all that? She's not coming to your house, and if she does, give her your list. If she's coming to your house, give her
Yeah.
the list of things to do.
Some things are just more important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spend time with the people you love.
100%.
Uh-huh.
Yes, 100%.
And, you know, we have to talk a little bit about pets because we've had some folks who were walking a dog that they had no business walking and they got dragged, they fell, they tripped, the leash went around their legs. So you have to factor that all in.
Or that pets were in the home and you got it, and they ran in front of you or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
pets are wonderful, but be careful.
Yeah, the outside falls, I think, are sometimes worse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know that my dad, we did have to remove his dog because the dog would get in his way. And it did worry me that he was going to trip over her because she was a Shih Tzu. She was a little bit of a yelper and things like that. And I was just like, she's gonna trip him because he doesn't see her, or he's gonna step on her and kill her. One of the two. So you know, it was just concerning. So absolutely, and even cats. I know cats, you know, can jump and run, and you may not even see them until they're right there. So no, so many, and not saying people should get rid of their animals, but I know that that's definitely something to consider when you're caring for someone that's older.
One thing you need to do in the mornings when you get up, open your blinds. Make sure your lighting is good because the shadows will give an illusion. But make sure your lighting is good in your home so that you can see outside. We mentioned outside the cracks in the sidewalk, the difference between like most doorways, you've got a little lip going up into them. Be very careful. Dr. Pam, you were talking about sunken dens, sunken living rooms. If you need to put a handrail up, do that, but so you're stepping down, you're not going to fall. It may not be what you want to do for your home, but it's what you need to do for your health. So make sure you're doing those type of things. Your health is more important, your safety, because you don't want to become one of those statistics.
Yeah.
You really don't, and it's just very important.
Yeah, and in the bathroom as well, having grab bars in every area. I mean, even you can even have a grab bar toilet paper. They make those, so it's an actual grab bar. So, and it can maintain up to 500 pounds when you grab on it. And right now, most regular ones in a house, I mean, you'll rip you'll rip it out of the wall if you're a heavy person or you're using your entire body weight. So they do make those, and they make them where they blend in, so they don't look like something that you picked that was for if that's something that you're concerned about. But, grab bars and the showers, I mean, you can do them really, towel holders everywhere. You can mac out your entire bathroom to where it is completely safe from slip and falls. So I think that's a really good thing as well.
That's a great idea, because you're right. People will grab for the towel bar, and it wasn't designed to hold up a person.
It will come
so
right
if
out
you
of the wall.
replace it with a grab bar, who's going to know?
Right.
And just throw the towels over it and call it a day.
And even when you're on the toilet, if you can't get up, if something's wrong, you can utilize that in order to kind of get your upper body strength. So there's so many really cool things that you just have to look for them. They're out there.
Absolutely.
So Google, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo, all kinds of fun places to go to. So what are some things that you can do to like build your strong bones, and some very specific exercises that might be just really good for you?
Yeah, because we kind of we touched on it. Of course, with the osteoporosis, calcium and vitamin D. We're all getting vitamin D levels now because it's important for immune health. Make sure your level of vitamin D is good. Calcium, they're getting away from high-dose calcium supplementation, except in certain people with certain illnesses. Basically, every dairy food is about 300 milligrams of calcium, and they're recommending about 1,000 milligrams. So you're getting, if you could say, well, yeah, I have yogurt and cottage cheese and regular cheese, and I drink milk. Okay, you're probably okay. But again, talk to your medical provider to say, am I getting enough? Do I need a supplement? And then there's all those exercises we talked about, the just walking, and then the Tai Chi and the yoga help your balance.
Yeah, I would think that would be something really beneficial to maintain that balance. I know balance is one of my things that's absolutely horrible. It's been horrible my whole life, but I wonder if it's something I should start really kind of focusing on as I get older.
It's never too late.
Yeah.
So go ahead, and you can watch it on TV and do the exercises and just do the beginners.
Yeah.
There's also, I talk about it all the time, the sit and fit, to where that you're working, strengthening your core, and just walking to keep your body limber, keep your body flexible, to where that you build up, and it's and it's contagious, it's infectious. You want to do more, and the more you do, the more you want to do.
And if you can, I think, get a couple people to walk with every evening, like after dinner or after breakfast or something, then you have a walking buddy group, and you're more committed, and it's more enjoyable, because you'll never realize when you start chatting with people when you're walking, you walk a lot farther.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and don't discount the strength training,
I'm
the
not.
weightlifting. No, you're not going to look like The Rock. You're not going to look like Arnold, but you'll stand taller, you'll walk straighter, and you'll just have more strength if you were to need to get up off the floor.
So a nice combination.
Well, and it also keeps your bones strong.
Yes,
It
does.
builds up bone strength. And you can't see that, but your body knows it's there. I mean, it's there, and that builds up the bone strength.
Yeah. So preparing for a fall for a senior. So what we talked about, all these different things not to do. So a senior, how can they really prepare for a fall?
I've had, as I mentioned earlier, I've had my caregivers get on the floor and try to get up. I actually had a physical therapist come in and work with my caregivers on how to fall. And that sounds crazy, but I did. I taught them how to, how that you just kind of, if you start feeling that, losing your balance, how to fall without getting hurt.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's, because we've all seen that on TV, to where it's in slow motion going down. And it's like you feel that you're just kind of going, and you're going and you're going, and it takes forever. Well, to fall without getting hurt.
Yeah. No, I love that. I don't think it's preventing it by learning how to prevent yourself from getting hurt when you fall. Who does that? That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
But then the question is, if you are on the floor, can I reach a phone?
Yeah.
Or is the phone up high on the wall, because that's where we put it in 1973.
Yeah. And and a lot of people have done away with their home phones, and they just have their cell phones. Well, you don't always carry your cell phone with you at home. if you're in the bathroom and you fall, or you're out on the patio and you fall, or wherever, you may not have your phone, or you're in one part of the house, you know, where if you have a home phone, most people have 5 or 6 or 2 or 3 in their home, or it may be in the kitchen up on the wall. So it might be a good idea to keep your phone with you. I had one of my people in one of my groups was taking the trash can out. The rolling trash can, those great old big ones, got away from him. Cell phone went flying one direction. He went in the other direction, and the trash can ended up on top of him. So, you know, and it was just a freak accident. So the cell phone in your pocket doesn't always, is not always available. Make sure that you've got, you know, your phone with you, even in the house.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to go, you might fall. You never know.
And there's other security. I mean, there's other options too with cameras.
Alexa, I've fallen.
But
Yes.
they have to be programmed.
Yes.
You can't say, Alexa, call 911, and they will.
Right.
There are a couple other
Yeah.
steps you can take that will make it do that, but it's not an automatic thing.
Right.
Okay. I
But
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can program it, call Mary, you know, and then Alexa can call Mary for you, or whoever, a family member.
Yeah, there's a lot of different options that are automated within your home that I think are worth looking into as well. So I think that that's really good.
Cameras.
Cameras.
For those of you that are caregivers for someone, but you know, make sure that you're not snooping on
Yeah,
somebody.
we always tell people, let the person know,
Yeah.
get their permission to say, look, I just want to put a camera in the living room and on the porch and in the kitchen, because I want to be able to look there and not say, oh, look at there's mom laying on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely, and I have heard stories where people have had check-ins or things like that with their parents on video and cameras and things like that, and then that's how they realize that if they're not checking in with them, or they don't have someone going over to the house every day, that person could literally lay there for days if they're not connecting. So I think that that's ideal, especially if you've got family that's not in the same town.
Yeah, sometimes people set up phone trees, or they'll set up little signals like, okay, if the newspaper is still on the front porch by 8 o'clock, please go knock on my mom's door.
Yeah. Exactly. Can get really frustrating. So would you encourage people to tell their doctor if they're falling,
Please.
or if they feel like they're losing their balance type
Yes.
of thing? Yeah.
And actually, you know, have you fallen is one of the questions we ask routinely when they come in for a visit. But bring it up, because it could be that your blood pressure drops when you stand up, because your blood pressure medicine is too strong. And we'll tell people, check your blood pressure sitting in a chair and then stand up. Write down what happens. Maybe it's your inner ear. Maybe you need to see an ENT doctor. Physical therapist, absolutely marvelous. They do real balance training with some pretty high-tech floors that know where you're leaning. It really helps. And the Parkinson's patients you mentioned, because Parkinson's patients fall backwards.
Yes, they do.
And if you think of it, you can kind of sort of stop yourself. If you fall forward, you can break your wrist. But if you fall backwards, that can cause
You can get hit your
spinal
head.
injury.
You can
hit
do
your
anything.
head, break your neck,
Yeah.
all kinds of
Yeah,
awful
it's
things.
almost like chopping down a tree,
Yeah.
because it just goes straight back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and don't think it's never going to happen to me, because it may happen. You know, you can't will yourself not to fall.
Right.
I mean, as hard as you try.
Right. So are there websites that offer options, like caregiver websites that can help people that have fallen or that can do any of these types of things?
Well, caregiver.com, they have their articles in there about fall prevention, and there's articles in there for the caregiver on helping them to make the home safer,
Okay.
and home safety checklist, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And it's really good website.
Very comprehensive
Yeah.
checklists.
Yeah.
And
It
I've
really is.
also seen how they, you know, how do you manage to get somebody up? But I know that we usually tell our caregivers who you're going to call.
Yeah.
You always are telling people, call 911.
Oh, yeah. Call 911. Call 911 and ask for the lift team.
The lift team.
The
Okay.
lift team.
Oh, okay.
And that's anywhere. And they won't send, the flashing red lights and everything like that, but they'll send the non-emergency. They come and do an assessment to make sure you're okay. If you can move your extremities and this sort of thing, but the paramedics will come and actually check you out and make sure you're okay. Because they don't have x-ray vision, but they're trained. They can tell if something's out of sorts and this sort of thing. They'll do an assessment and they'll help you up.
Yeah.
And because they'd rather have one patient than two.
Oh,
And so if
absolutely.
you're trying to help your 120-pound woman trying to help your 220-pound husband up off the floor, the next thing you know, you're on the floor too.
Absolutely.
Or you have a back injury and now you can't be a caregiver anymore.
Right, exactly. So basically, to sum it up, falls are really serious. They're sometimes deadly, and they can very, very often be completely life-altering.
They are. And I just wanted to mention even the minor injuries. You fracture your ankle. Well, kids, teens, young adults can fracture an ankle, but if you're a caregiver and you fracture your right ankle and now you can't drive anymore, and now you can't walk around the house and do the things you need to do, it could leave you helpless.
Yeah, it can change where you live from living independently to needing assisted living as well. So that is definitely.
And that's when the family calls me, help.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those can be avoided a lot of times.
So let's avoid them as much as possible.
Absolutely.
All righty, ladies. This was a great episode. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.